And on yesterday's assignment for our calendar, I had you predict what was going to be the color of the circle for the December 8th. I asked you what the only, now this is because a couple people are still kind of confused about this. A number of you, when I ask what number is neither prime nor composite, you say it's 0. Well, actually 0 is not a number. It's the absence of value. It is not a number. So in my questioning, I purposely ask what whole number is the only number that is neither prime nor composite. And that would be 1. Because 1, in order for a number to be prime, it has to have itself and 1. And I know it's kind of a tricky rule, but 1 only has 1 itself. It doesn't have 1 and another number. So 1 is not prime, and it is not composite. So as you can see, it has that light purple. It's the only circle that will have a light purple. Then I asked you what numbers on here are prime. Well, many of you knew 2 was prime because it only has factors of 1 in itself, 2 times 1. Many of you picked 3 because 3 also has only factors of itself in 1. 3 times 1 will give you 3. 5. 5 times 1 is 5. Nothing else you can multiply. No other factors can give you 5 except for 1 and itself, which is 5. So it is prime. 7 as well. 7 times 1 is prime, or are its only factors. So you should have said that the only prime numbers that are on our calendar were 2, 3, 5, and 7. When I asked you what numbers were composite, you should have picked 4 and 6. The reason you should have picked 4 is because 4 has other factors other than itself and 1. 2 times 2. Same thing with 6. 6 has more factors than itself and 1. 3 times 2. So that's what makes that composite. Then I asked you, what was your prediction for the color? And you should realize by now that blue represents the composite numbers, and orange or red, that's usually a debate in the class, orange or red represents the prime numbers. And many of you said that it was going to be a blue. So good for you. Now the other one that I want to highlight a little bit more specifically today are the square numbers. So if you can see over here, 1 and 4 have squares. So I'm just going to show you a pattern. A square is a number that when you square it, it is the same thing as to the power of 2. So 1 to the power of 2 is, yay, I get to write 1 2 times and I get to multiply them. 1 times 1 equals 1. So that's why 1 is a square. Now later on, we're going to be able to say what is the square root of a number. And then you would go in reverse. But for right now, we're just looking for the squares. 4 has a square in there because look, 2 squared, or 2 to the power of 2, is the same thing as 2 times 2. Remember how we worked with exponents? When we see the little exponent up there, we go, yay, I get to write the base 2 times. Now, if it would have been a 3, we would say, yeah, I get to write the base 3 times. And then you multiply them together. And 2 times 2 equals 4. That's why 4 is a square. Somebody predicted the next square would be 8. And a lot of kids do that because they think, oh, 2 times 2 is 4. But it's not 2 times 2. You would go, the next number, 3 squared, would be, yay, I get to write 3 2 times. You multiply the power, and so 3 times 3 is 9. So that's my prediction, that the next square is going to be tomorrow's number. So just kind of keep this in mind. When we get later onto it, we are going to ask, what is the square root of 1? And it's going to be 1. What's the square root? I should do this. What is the square root of 4? It'll be 2. What is the square root of 9? It would be 3. We're going to work in reverse. But anyway, I just wanted to give a little mini lesson on squared because that is one of our vocabulary words. And we are definitely starting to see a pattern with 1 and 4. And we should look for it tomorrow.